Most hardworking women will never become wealthy. Not because they can't, but because we're taught not to. And here's what most people don't realize. Our grandmothers couldn't access basic financial tools without a man's approval. Not because they weren't capable, because the system didn't allow it. So how do you break out of a system that was never designed for you to win? That was the exact question I had. Until I found a book that completely changed how I see money, power, and the roadmap to success. We Should All Be Millionaires by Rodgers. If you're smart, capable, and hardworking, but still feel overworked, underpaid, or guilty asking for more, this video is for you. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the shifts and the real stories that show how women like us stop playing small and start building real wealth. Now, let's unpack it. Meet Layla. She's the one everyone depends on. She's responsible, reliable, and capable. The friend people call when they don't know what to do. The coworker who fixes things no one else can figure out. Layla works hard. She tells herself that if she just stays disciplined, if she just pushes a little more, if she just figures out the right strategy, then eventually everything will click. But it doesn't. Because here's what Layla doesn't realize yet. She's not stuck because she lacks discipline. She's stuck because she inherited limits. Limits she didn't choose or design. Our society told her to be agreeable. Don't ask for too much. Work harder than everyone else. Be grateful for what you get. And Layla did exactly that. She said yes when she wanted to say no. She undercharged when she should have raised her prices. She handled everything herself when she should have asked for help. Not because she's weak, because she was trained to believe that being good mattered more than being powerful. So she keeps grinding and still feels behind. Not because she's failing, because she's playing a game she didn't design. And once you see that, you can finally call timeout. Layla has always been the strong one, and she tells herself she likes it that way, because needing help would mean she's failing, and Layla doesn't fail. So she keeps going, doing more, taking on more, proving more, until one day she realizes something she can't ignore. She's exhausted and done. And that's when the truth hits her. Doing everything yourself isn't strength. It's a strategy that keeps you small. That's when she understands a concept Rodgers talks about, a choice every woman eventually has to make. Do I want to be a martyr or a millionaire? Because martyrs do everything. Millionaires decide. Layla has spent years believing that doing everything made her responsible, that saying yes made her valuable, that pushing harder meant she was strong. But what if the thing she was most proud of was the very thing keeping her stuck? In Rodgers' book, she shares stories of brilliant women, capable, talented, and driven, who weren't struggling because they lacked skill. They were struggling because they refused to let go of control. They thought delegation meant laziness. They thought outsourcing meant selfishness. They thought asking for help meant weakness. So they kept doing everything themselves. Now meet Ruby. Ruby doesn't rush. She doesn't scramble to answer messages. She doesn't apologize before she speaks. She doesn't say yes just because someone asked. She pauses. She considers. She decides. There's something different about her. You notice it before she even says a word. It's not confidence in the loud sense. It's certainty. Ruby doesn't make busy decisions. She makes million-dollar decisions. She's the woman who raises her price and doesn't flinch. The woman who turns down opportunities that look good but feel wrong. The woman who rests without guilt because she understands that exhaustion is expensive. One afternoon, a potential client pushes back on her rate. Most people would rush to explain, justify, discount, convince. Ruby doesn't. She listens, nods once, and calmly says, "That's my price." No apology, no over-explaining, no shrinking. And something surprising happens. The room adjusts to her. Ruby learns something most people never realize. Who you stand next to determines what you believe is possible. She doesn't shrink herself to fit rooms that are too small. She puts herself in rooms with women who earn more. And somewhere along the way, Ruby stopped trying to prove her value and started deciding it. The difference between Layla and Ruby isn't talent. It's decisions. And the most powerful decision Ruby ever made wasn't about money at all. Because every result in your life follows the same invisible sequence: thought, decision, action, result. Change the thought, you change the ending. And once you know that, you can't unknow it. Now, let's take a look at an example. When something unfair happens, Layla thinks the world is unfair, so why bother trying? So she hesitates, she waits, she shrinks. Ruby sees the same world. She thinks the world is unfair, and I'm going to make enough money to help make it better. So she moves, she builds, she decides. Same world, different thought, different life. Here's a second example. An opportunity shows up. Layla's first instinct: making money is hard. So she doubts it, questions it, and talks herself out of it. Ruby sees opportunity and thinks, there are infinite ways to make money. I'll find one that works for me. So she experiments, she tests, she tries. Layla sees obstacles. Ruby sees options. Now let's look at a third example, just to make it clear. Layla wants more financial breathing room. So she spends 5 hours searching for ways to cut expenses. Coupons, discount codes, negotiating bills. At the end of all that effort, she saved $15. Ruby also has 5 hours. She spends it researching ways to create new income. She tests one idea, finds a client, closes the deal. 5 hours later, she's made $1,500. Same time, different decision, different life. Layla protects effort. Ruby protects leverage. Broke decisions try to survive. $1,000,000 decisions work to scale up. And if you want different results, you don't start with your schedule. You start with your thoughts. If you're still with me, that tells me something. It tells me you're not just watching, you're thinking differently. So go ahead and hit the like button to lock that in. And if you're ready to start making different decisions, subscribe to my channel and grab my free guide in the description. 20 ways to make more income this year using AI. Because change doesn't start when you feel ready. It starts when you decide. So now that you've met Layla and Ruby, there's no question that both of them exist. You know both of them. The question is, which one are you choosing to be? Becoming Ruby doesn't happen someday. It doesn't happen when you feel ready or when life slows down. It happens the moment you decide. Every decision is a vote for the woman you're becoming. Not the woman you hope to be, not the woman you plan to be, the woman you're actively becoming right now. And here's the truth most people never realize. You don't need permission to become her. You need a decision now. Rachel Rodgers is clear. Most hardworking women will never become wealthy because we are taught to shrink, to wait, to overgive, to prove, and to settle. But here's what we now know. That story isn't the truth. If you are ready to explore the $1,000,000 woman waiting for you in your future, pick up Rachel Rodgers' book, We Should All Be Millionaires, and download my free guide, 20 Ways to Make More Income This Year Using AI. And start thinking like your future self, because she's not ahead of you. She's inside you, waiting on a decision. Bye for now. I'll see you in the next episode of Dollars and Common Sense.